All right, Hare Krishna, everyone. So we're doing a ad hoc Thanksgiving Bhagavatam Bites, and we've got a really wonderful group of exalted Vaishnavas from all over London. One of them is currently in Spain, Madrid, Spain, Portugal. Madrid is Spain, yes.
Come on.
And making his way back to London. So we're going to read from...
and just to say, these devotees are in our Grihastha mentorship group.
Yeah, so we all get together.
They're not random.
They're random exalted souls. So we're reading from...
Canto 3, Chapter 31, Text 5. The chapters, The Movements of the Living Entities.
Okay, so we can all say the invocation together. You can unmute. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so we'll take turns. Maybe Mrs. Priya Mataji, you can please start the reading for us, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. Deriving its nutrition from the food and drink taken by the mother, the fetus grows and remains in that abominable residence of stools and urine, which is the breeding place of all kinds of worms.
Oh dear.
Okay, so just so it's clear, we didn't specifically choose this. This is just where we are in the reading. But for all of you who are watching, Mrs. Priya, who is also Priya Gilbert, she is with child and expecting any day now. So it just so happens that she's going to get some insights from Lord Kapila Dev about what's happening in the womb. So please continue, dear mother.
Oh, good. Shall we read the purport?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Just the first paragraph, please.
Okay. In the Markandeya Purana, it is said that in the intestine of the mother, the umbilical cord, which is known as Apyayani, joins the mother to the abdomen of the child. And through this passage, the child within the womb accepts the mother's assimilated foodstuff. In this way, the child is fed by the mother's intestine within the womb and grows from day to day. The statement of the Markandeya Purana about the child's situation within the womb is exactly corroborated by modern medical science, and thus the authority of the Puranas cannot be disproved, as is sometimes attempted by the Mayavadi philosophers.
Okay, powerful. So usually what we do is after we read a paragraph, then if anyone has any reflections, especially the person who read, then please share any reflections. And since you have practical real life experience of all of this being your second child, please share some realization with us.
I think the thing that stood out to me was that obviously that is why it's important to eat prasadam during pregnancy, obviously always, but you know, if the child is eating exactly what the mother is eating, then it's really important that you are aware and mindful of what you're putting into your body.
Very powerful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Definitely. I would have never thought of that one. Okay. Anyone else would like to reflect back anything they've heard so far? Okay, we've got a anxious, exciting, enthusiastic crew here this evening.
I was going to say the thing which
okay, this is Jagannath Sharan Prabhu coming from the black box.
Sorry, our video's not working. I don't know why. The thing which was interesting for me was how the child, through connection, grows day by day. And so I was that to me kind of lended itself to the notion that when we're connected to Krishna, we can also grow day by day. So it was just a way of looking at things, and by connection we can grow.
Very nice. Powerful. Anyone else? Any thoughts so far? Yeah,
I just wanted to, sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
I just wanted to add as well that it's really interesting as we go through the Bhagavatam when we see points like this, looking at science and Vedic science, and how basically the Vedas are so far ahead of modern day science. So this was written, billions of years ago, and science has only just discovered it fairly recently, considering time. So scientists think, oh wow, look what we've discovered, but the Vedic scriptures say it all a long time ago.
Yeah, that's so amazing. Actually, in our last reading, I mentioned that point that it's not that someone has done some surgery somewhere to find this out. It's like it's transcendental knowledge that's been just passed down from the original source. And here you have Kapila Dev, who's just a young boy citing this knowledge to his mother.
Right.
So that very powerful point. Okay, anyone else? Any thoughts? So we'll keep reading. Okay. Mother Krishna Kanta, would you like to read the next paragraph?
Yeah. Written again in rain all over the body by the hungry worms in the abdomen itself.
Wait a minute. No, it's the next paragraph. Since the child depends.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Since the child depends completely on the assimilated foodstuff of the mother during pregnancy, there are restrictions on the food taken by the mother. Too much salt, chili, onion, and similar food is forbidden for the pregnant mother because the child's body is too delicate and new for him to tolerate such pungent food. Restrictions and precautions to be taken by the pregnant mother, as enunciated in the Smriti scriptures of Vedic literature, are very useful. We can understand from Vedic literature how much care is taken to beget a nice child in society. The Garbhadhan ceremony before sexual intercourse was compulsory for persons on the higher grades of society, and it is very scientific. Other processes recommended in the Vedic literature during pregnancy are also very important. To take care of the child is the primary duty of the parents, because if such care is taken, society will be filled with good population to maintain the peace and prosperity of the society, country, and human race.
Wow, powerful. Any thoughts, Mother Krishna Kanta?
Yeah, I mean, according to Vedas, there's so much that goes into having a child, not just having a child for the sake of it, or just wanting offspring, or even not wanting it and happens by accident nowadays. And you can see when working in schools, we have so many safeguarding problems, and that children are just begot and they're there, and then they become a burden to parents. And it's so nice, our scriptures, they talk about how there's so many different intricacies that go into raising a child from the womb onwards, from procreation onwards. So our Vedas, when we follow them, we can actually have a proper society where people are looked after, cared for from birth. But nowadays in Kali Yuga, it's very degraded, and you see so many children who have not been brought up in a way like this being neglected, and it's just so sad to see.
Wow, powerful. Yes, very true. Very true. Anyone else? Any thoughts?
I have a friend of mine, she's a Christian, and when I explained to her about the Garbhadhan ceremony and the consciousness that goes into trying to conceive a child, she was really surprised. She said she was really amazed at the amount of detail in the scriptures on the process of procreation and just how much emphasis and how much focus is on it. Because she'd never heard anything like this before, and she was really impressed to just kind of hear just that, everything from your consciousness, your mood, what you eat, the mantras, the time, the amount of detail that we're given And even in that, whether you believe in it or not, just even if you believe in positivity and positive consciousness, that alone is, you know, which most people do now, that mindfulness attitude and approach that's there in the scriptures from, you know, so many thousands of years ago, that it can still resonate with people now, even who are not following Vedic literatures, but can appreciate it.
Very powerful. Yeah, it's amazing. Actually, just then when you mentioned that, it reminded me how when I first heard it also, and my friend Matt was saying, yeah, you know, kind of, I don't remember exactly how we got onto it, but him just saying something to the effect, yeah, that the Vedic scriptures are so detailed, it even explains, procreation. And then he was saying, you know, it's all about the consciousness, and you input that into the child that attracts a specific type of soul. And just, yeah, the whole explanation was like, wow, it's like really far out, because it's such a basic, I guess for most people, it's such a ground basic thing that you do. I mean, because it's mostly about the sex. And then most people are trying to avoid getting the result of the sex. They just want to enjoy sex life and not deal with the result. But even those who want to have children, you know, they don't really think about it in this way as an activity that really involves the consciousness and trying to attract a specific type of soul into the world. So very powerful point. Thank you, Mother. Anyone else? Any thoughts?
I also like the fact that, in a sense, you know, it's not just random that a particular child comes to some, you know, a group, you know, to parents in that way, but rather it's more intentional. And so therefore, in a sense, you know, people are talking about, you know, there's this, at least a few years back, there was this notion of designer babies, right? Like babies who are elite in some way. And, you know, the genes are, you know, the Aryan philosophy and all this kind of, you know, notions that people have. But actually, the consciousness of the living entity that you attract is down to the consciousness of the parents, right? Like, so they in a sense have that ability to kind of, you know, practice and attract a particular type of soul. So it's not random. It's far from that, actually. And you know, you can, depending on the time and so forth, you can attract a soul and have a boy or a girl, or, you know, particular attributes. You can meditate on a particular personality and attract certain qualities in that way. So yeah, the whole thing is very precise and far from random, which for me is just testament to the beauty of the practice of Krishna consciousness, where even a seemingly you know, a simple coming together of two people can be very particular, and also what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I think, going back to the same word, it's intentional to attract a particular type of soul. So it's really powerful, and there's a whole depth to it, which is kind of, you know, brushes over most people's awareness.
Very nice. Couple of things came up for me then, which I guess the you know, two things came up. One was that, yes, certainly we can't rule out the mercy of the Lord, because even amongst a family that may not have had such good consciousness, but a sort of great personality can appear even in that family. The Lord's divine intervention, of course, can always happen. And then the flip side I was thinking was, as a kind of question. So what to do if, you know, as a devotee, maybe you do all of these things and somehow you wind up with a child that appears to not be like, you know, a ray of Vishnu. Maybe sometimes it seems to be more like a ray of something else.
Yamaraj.
Yamaraj. Well, Well, Dharma, I mean, Yudhisthira is the ray of Dharma, right?
A ray of Ravana.
A ray of Ravana, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, or, you know, the child has some physical challenges or physical impediments or mental challenges or impediments. And then how do we process that as a parent? You know, for some reason it just came to mind like, oh no, that could be very faith shaking. You know, just like we think, you know, for devotees, bad things shouldn't happen to them, quote unquote, bad things. And when they do, our faith gets shaken. So what do we think about that? Or should we not think about it? Should we just read on?
I think, sorry. I think when these souls are sent to you, I think maybe it's their karma to be in a family where there is Krishna consciousness so that they can gain Krishna consciousness. So even though they might not act in the way that you expect to, keep giving them the love as much as possible and keep giving that Krishna consciousness to them, because I guess that's just your job, and they've been sent, obviously they've been born into your family to get some Krishna consciousness. Just like when we see book distribution, we see all these people come up to us because it's their turn, or it's their karma to be in that situation, to be meeting a devotee. Even to meet a devotee, you know, is a special thing. And so then maybe as devotees, even if we get children like that, it's just still our duty to give them care, love, and give them that Krishna consciousness through the care and love. And maybe it's just their karma that they have to get that. They've been have some special mercy still. I don't know.
I think that's a wonderful answer. Very nice. Yeah, for them, they're getting benefited for sure, being born into a devotee family, and somehow they got that karma to take that birth. That's great. One
other thought I had was, with the best of intentions, if a child appears that has different needs, or, you know, has a particular disposition which is different or perhaps contrary to devotional service, I think it's the opportunity of still, I mean, ultimately it's still the responsibility, that child is still the responsibility of the parents, right? So the parents' duty is to be responsible. That's what they signed up for. Now, responsibility doesn't mean only when it's going well. And so therefore, I don't think the child is, the opportunity, the role of the parents is to offer love and nourishment and support. And whether that child has this particular set of needs or that particular set of needs, I don't think that matters so much. It's more about the opportunity that it presents to serve that living entity in that child body. And obviously it's not random again, right? Like, again, going back to the same point, it's not random. It's not somehow, you know, a fluke of nature that it happened in that particular way, that the child was, that particular soul came along. Obviously there's a should we say, a precise connection between the parents and the child based on the consciousness. And so therefore I don't think you're ill-equipped to look after that child. It's more about whether you're willing to accept the challenge that may come. But nonetheless, it's not that Krishna gives us challenges that we can't overcome. And that's something I need to learn myself in my own life. But, you know, I think it's more of the same, right? It's
very nice. No, that's powerful. I guess that goes back to your intentional, you know, it's intentional, and nothing happens. It's not random. I guess it's just maintaining the faith that it's not random, and Krishna hasn't, you know, because easily we can fall into, you know, even when we get sick, or someone we love gets sick, or someone we love has serious health issues, you know, we can start to wonder, Krishna, why have you done this to me? We feel ourselves punished instead of maybe blessed, and understanding that I can grow so much from this opportunity like that. And also I can benefit, as you both have said, benefit this little jiva by continuing to look after them and give them the love and Krishna consciousness that they need. And that in turn will definitely make us more Krishna conscious and increase our own faith in Krishna. So, yeah, so it's a very powerful thing. Yeah, life's all great when the things we want to happen. But as soon as the things we don't want to happen, then that's when our faith is really tested. So yeah. Anyway, very nice. I'm just recognizing it as 7, and Mrs. Priya, I have a question, Mrs. Priya. Mrs. Priya is a teacher, by the way. So. So as is our Krishna Kanta, Mataji. Miss Soni.
Miss Videhi.
Oh yeah, and Miss Videhi. God, all the misses are here. What have I done in my life to be surrounded by teachers? I was such a bad student. So I think we'll finish here with the reading. But this is so wonderful. We only read one verse in purport, but yet churned some nectar, and this is really the goal of life, to come together as devotees, Machchita Magata Prana Bodhiyanta Prasparam, and hear and chant together. We're not going to finish discussion, but we're just going to finish this recording and this Bhagavatam Bites and this little session. So just like to thank you all very much for being such wonderful devotees, all attached to hearing and chanting the scripture and doing it together, and being our friends for so many years and being with us today. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Haribol.
Thank you for giving us your mercy always.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Ki jai. Nanda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.